Hello people, my name is Asa, welcome back to my channel. This is my second ever Sims 4 speed build video. I am a new starter on the YouTube scene, so to speak, so that just simply means that every single viewer that I receive and every like and subscribe is noticed and very much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for being here. This is quite a long video. This build took me longer than I anticipated, although previous builds of mine always tend to go that way, so you'd think that I'd start cracking on clocking on, sorry, to the length of time that it takes me now. But hey, it's condensed down to as short as I could get it, so grab a cuppa and let's start talking about this build. So what I was trying to go for was like a sort of mountain cabin kind of feel to this building, but on a grander scale, so perhaps more a mansion size. You know, it's a large building. There's 5 bedrooms with a view of being able to sleep up to 16 Sims. So not only could you Sims visit to this lot, because I have set it as a rental lot for the holidays with just the immediate family, so your parents and your kids, but they could also visit with their extended larger family, so maybe some grandparents, some aunts, uncles, cousins, and the like. I have seen a lot of houses in, it seems to be, a lot of the time they seem to be in Colorado, that have this sort of look and incorporate a lot of sort of natural stone and wood within the walls and the structure of the building, and I really like that look. I think it looks really cozy, really rustic, and perfect for this time of year. So whilst it is currently sunny whilst I'm building on screen at the moment, this build is meant for the winter season, meant to spend Christmas time. For Christmas time to be spent at, and so later on in the video you will see that I change the weather so that it is snowy and, well, blizzardy even at one point. Right, so what I'm doing here at the moment is just using a rug from the Journey to Batu pack. I was inspired by Kate Emerald, who I first saw using this, just as a means, almost like a stencil, if you will, like a template that you can use as to create a rounded shape with a pool. So as you can see now, what I'm using is a pedestal from the Get to Work pack, and I'm just using that to create the shape along the pattern of the Journey to Batu rug. And then I'm using the pool tool to go around and fill in the gaps. So as you can see, whilst we can't actually create rounded pools in The Sims 4, this does create an illusion of one. So as I said in my previous video, I do like finding workarounds, and I think this is a game where, to an extent, you know, I don't want to go as far as to say nothing is impossible on it, but maybe that is the case on PC with custom content, who knows. But you can definitely find workarounds in most situations to create the sort of look that it is that you're wanting to achieve. At the moment, I'm looking at framing the circular structure part of the house with some deluxe, not deluxe, what is it? The Desert Lux, the Desert Lux kit. I do end up changing this room at the end. But yeah, so my inspiration as well for the whole building was from a combination of 3 or 4 different buildings that I found on Pinterest. I found myself scrolling for quite some time trying to find the perfect seeming building. Like, I had a vision in mind and I just wanted to find a photo that would help bring that vision to life and something that I could use to base from. But every building that I was looking at, there was certain things that weren't quite right, you know. So maybe if I really liked the exterior of one build, but I wasn't so much of a fan of the interior, or I really liked a certain part of the structure of the building, but not so much of another part. So what I ended up doing was simply combining 3 or 4 different buildings, well, taking inspiration from them at least, taking the parts that I liked the most to create the structure of this building. And I think it does look really cool. I have realised since I've uploaded this to the gallery that it's facing the wrong way round from the gallery photo perspective. Obviously, as you can tell, the side with the curved pool is supposed to be the front, where you'd perhaps pull a car onto the stone pathway, and your front door is up to the right. However, the photos on the gallery are flipped around. So you're seeing the back of the house as the front. But it is what it is. If you've watched this video, you can tell what it is that I was trying to achieve. And I'm sure your Sims can still use the house the way round as it was intended. So just in the porchway area here, I have created, well, I have taken from the gallery some roof trusses created by Simsomly, I believe is how you say their name. I will give credit to them in the description. And these are just made by taking some debug wooden beams and rotating them. I assume they will have used Tool Mod to have done that. Obviously, because I play on Xbox, I can't have access to that, meaning that I am super grateful to the wonderful builders out there that have created tools such as these pre-created roof trusses for console players such as myself. What I'm doing here now is moving on to a custom fireplace. So again, I've taken inspiration from a few different photos. I really liked the idea of having a log fire. I just felt that it fits in with the sort of cozy rustic feel of this place. Then I used a window from the Jungle Adventure pack to sort of frame where I was going to hide the fire. Stuck the fire in behind a stone wall background, and then to the sides of it we've got a couple of cupboards for storage space and also a storage space for some additional logs, which I'll add in later on in the video just from debug. I really like this fireplace. I think it looks, well, I like the additional detail that I've added to frame it, rather than just having a fireplace placed against the wall. We've got the shelving. We're going to have some decor that I add in the sense of clutter later on in the video, and just makes it look really rustic, really cozy, and really Christmassy is what I was going for. So the packs that I've used the most of in this build, I have used a lot of packs, but the ones that I've used where I've used over 20 items from the packs in are Jungle Adventure, Cats and Dogs, Dream Home Decorator, Get Together, and Snowy Escape. The rest of them are under 20 items. In a lot of the cases, it's just 1 or 2 items. So if you didn't have those other packs that it features, you should still be okay to download this build. I'm in the kitchen at the moment. You'll see that what I was trying to do was use some custom no CC paintings from the gallery just to create custom looking counters. This did look really effective and I really liked it, but then I found that a few of them kept disappearing. They kept getting quite buggy. So in the end, I do resort back to just using the original Jungle Adventure counter that's underneath. However, what I do keep is the bar structure that I've made. So I've used some shelves that, again, as I mentioned earlier, there's some wonderful people out there that have created sort of toolkits for console players, if you will, including sort of tilted and rotated objects that we can use in our builds. So this, I used some base game shelves rotated by Bina Balula 46, I believe is how you say their name. I do apologise if I've said it wrong. But yeah, I used the shelves rotated by her to create, or him, to create a custom bar in the kitchen, and then added in some spotlights, which looks really effective. Obviously moved on from it now, but you'll see that in the screenshots at the end. I'm creating an indoor pool area here. I looked at a lot of photos for inspiration on Pinterest, and I wanted to, again, keep a lot of this natural stone and wood vibes throughout this area whilst also trying to make it look really cozy and peaceful and relaxing. So I opted for the double floor, sort of the cut floor, if you know what I mean, so that there wasn't a ceiling, if you will. So we've got a double floor open pool, and I think that looks really nice. I'm adding in some windows here so that you can look down at the pool below if you're wanting to sit, well, if your Sims are wanting to sit and have a snack or maybe a drink. In that area behind just there, there's going to be 2 bathrooms with a shower and a storage locker, so that if your Sims were wanting to go down and into the pool, or what will be a sauna later on in the video, or the hot tub, they can simply get changed and get ready for that there, and then come back and change back when they're done. I'm adding in areas in the porch just there. What I've done in that porch area is create a sort of custom seating area. I've used a door frame that I think was Jungle Adventure, or if not, Journey to Batu, I want to say, not 100%, just to frame that. And then I've used some Snowy Escape shelves just to create like a platform to hide the base of the seat, so that it looks like a custom sort of daybed, if you will, where people can come and take off their shoes or put them on if they're going in or out of the building. I'm adding some more details into the kitchen here, so you can see I've reverted back to using the original counters. As I said, I wanted this to be a grand kitchen to an extent. I don't mean grand in the sense of regal, but more so in the sense of everything's catered for. So, you know what I mean? There's all the appliances you could ask for. Although thinking about that, you know, I've not added a microwave. So everything but a microwave, there you go. But a grand coffee machine, lots of different alcohol choices, multiple fridges that you'll assume will be fully stocked. So everything that your Sims will need to create the perfect Christmas dinner. Now I'm moving on to the upstairs, to the bedrooms. So my bedroom area wasn't, because I used my technically first floor up as the area for my living area and my dining room, my kitchen, my porch and whatnot. It only left me this space up here to use for the bedrooms. And like I said, because I wanted this to be for a rental lot for a big family to come and visit at Christmas, I obviously wanted to be able to sleep a lot of Sims. That being said, you're going to assume that, you know, there's a mum and a dad, so they're going to want their own room. There's going to probably be grandparents, maybe an aunt and an uncle, multiple different adult couples you would assume that would be there and therefore be wanting their own bedroom. So I had to find a way to create 4 double bedrooms, and then I've created this longer big bedroom that contains 8 single beds in the form of custom bunk beds. Unfortunately, I don't believe they're functional. I couldn't get my Sim to access them when I tried. However, all the normal double beds within the building are. So what I've moved on to now is having a bit of a, I guess I'll call it like a product dumping session, if you will. So hear me out, right? So what I like to do when it comes to cluttering up a build is to click through the wall decorations menu, then the miscellaneous items menu, then the clutter menu, etc. And anything that I see that I think might be appropriate for X, Y, or Z room within the building that I'm creating, I'll go through and I'll pop those items in the relevant rooms. That just means that when it comes to me properly decorating those rooms, I've got the clutter in there already. I've not got to go and search for specific clutter items for that room and scroll back through those menus room after room. And also, I think when you're creating like a bigger build, as much as I do love cluttering, it can get kind of tedious, and I do tend to find myself sort of brushing past it a little bit, not going into as much detail with the final elements as I perhaps would at the beginning of the build. So by having the items in that room already, it just means that I can then tidy them away into a place, and it reminds me to, you know, actually get them into the building, because I do think that clutter is super important. I love my builds to look lived in for the most part. Of course, this is a rental, so I don't want it to look too lived in the sense of having individual people's personalities on display within the building, but I do still want it to look cozy, look snug, and like somewhere that you would actually want to live. You'll see as well in the living room, I've created a sort of custom seating area. I've done this by raising a platform, I think it was up just once, using an ottoman, and then creating a small half wall. I might not have even raised the platform, actually, I would have to double check. But then, yeah, using the tiniest half wall just to create a small platform in front of the seat and block it off. And then eventually I will move on to using some rotated seats from the living chair menu that work as cushions. So another creator, whose name I do apologise, but I can't remember the name off from the top of my head. But they have created some rotated pillows, and they're done, like I said, by rotating living chairs more vertically so that they appear like a cushion. This again makes this seating area just look that bit more detailed, that bit more realistic, and that bit more cozy. So I'm adding in some Christmas decorations throughout the place, as you will see. I didn't want to go overboard. I think sometimes, Christmas decorations can edge on the side of tacky. Sometimes that isn't a bad thing, but it's not what I was wanting to achieve here. So I have added quite a few throughout the building, mostly in the living room, of course, and then bits in the dining room, porch and hallway. Not the hallway, that is the porch is the hallway sort of thing. But the kitchen is what I meant to say. But yeah, obviously the idea being that your Sims come to visit this place in winter, with it being Christmas time at the moment, I wanted to bring that into this build so that your Sims can celebrate alongside you guys in real life also. Here I am just creating a little bit of I guess you could call it a boathouse. To a degree, it's a boathouse for the jet skis. These jet skis won't actually stay if you import this game, download it from this build, if you download it from the gallery. Unfortunately, I did place them a few times. You will probably see over the course of the video that they do change colour. This is just in my efforts to replace them, and not every time they don't work. But hey, there's nothing stopping you replacing some jet skis in there if you wanted to when you've downloaded this build. Here I'm creating like a hanging seat using the rain chain from the Snowy Escape pack, and just a love seat, and raising it up slightly. It isn't functional, unfortunately. You could perhaps make it functional if you placed a living chair in and shrunk it down so that it was tiny and underneath. If you're on PC, you'll be able to shrink that chair down to an unseeable size to a normal eye, I guess. So there could be ways around it, but it does look really pretty. I've added in a fire pit, or a log fire, sorry, in the middle, so that you can have a little fire outdoors, and there's a bar just inside where you can grab a drink. You will notice, despite the fact that I've got a games room upstairs here, I haven't actually got a TV in this building anywhere. So it's not that I'm shying away from electronics per se. We have got a games room with, well, thinking about it, probably nothing electronic in. Actually, we've got a foosball table, we've got a dartboard, I guess, that's got an electronic scoreboard on it. But we've also got a kids' playroom with some different toys in and stuff like that. But I didn't want any TVs, I didn't want any computers. I think that TVs, computers, they are ties almost into the real world. If you can still be reached by emails, by texts, things like that, by watching the news, then you're not really getting away, you're not really having an escape. And that is what I wanted with this place. I wanted it to be like a Christmas escape where the real world is forgotten about for a few days, and the only thing that the guests are focused on here is spending time with their loved ones and socialising, be that in the form of eating together, having a drink together, playing a game together, or just hanging out in the pool or the sauna or the hot tub. So it's about family, it's about being together, it's about escaping and retreating from all of the stresses of the real world, which is why I didn't want to place in those, like I said, those almost ties in the form of like phones, TVs, laptops, that sort of thing. Here I am decorating some of the bedrooms. I've used a lot of I guess like the plastery look wallpaper, different shades of greys within the different rooms, sort of greys to blacks to, well, yeah, I guess that's the sort of colour scheme, and then some dark browns also. The double bedrooms are all decorated differently. We've got 3 bathrooms on the floor with the bedrooms on. One that is an ensuite to the kids' room, one that is shared between 3 of the adults' bedrooms, and one that is an ensuite to the 4th adult bedroom. It's not ideal. In an ideal world, I would have liked an ensuite for each of the adult bathrooms as well, but I was working with a limited size structure on this higher up level, as I mentioned earlier. So it is what it is. There'll be time, we can assume, for everyone to get their use in the bathrooms. Here I am back in the indoor pool area. You'll see in a minute, I'm away to add, there we go, a few windows to the pool so that you can see through to the outdoor pool. I just thought this was a nice touch. Again, helps keep the place very sort of natural feeling, if you will. Lots of access to water, stone, wood within eyesight. I wanted the hot tub room to be nice and cozy. I'm adding a little bar in there, sort of tucked away and hidden, but with a cute little view to the indoor pool, just through the window from the cats and dogs pack, the sort of open framed window. Added another bar. You will see there's a lot of bars throughout this place. I figured, you know what, it's Christmas time. That often comes with having a drink and celebrating with your family and friends. And with this being a luxury resort, I wanted there to be plenty of access to drink should your Sims wish to have a little party. Here I am working in the kids' room. Now, I actually spent so long, so I say the kids' room, I mean the playroom, and I spent so long working with what to do with this. At the beginning of the video, I only had one level that was the extra, I think it's a large size circle room, and then the one above was the small. I do change this to being 2 of the large size circle so that I've got an open space through, which I then create another level from. What I've used here is a tunnel from the cats and dogs pack to create like a slide, and this was again rotated by a wonderful person whose details I can link in the description of this video. They've rotated this slightly so that it appears as though the tube is like a slide, and what I've done is created a small structure in the middle of the large circular building that's kind of, I've covered it in the wooden wallpaper. We're kind of getting sort of treehouse and indoor treehouse sort of vibes, I suppose. And then use some of the open framed jungle adventure windows to create sort of areas that in theory your kid would climb through into the slide and slide down, or could just simply peer out from some of the open ones. Obviously the slide isn't usable from a slide perspective, but it does look cute. And then there is plenty of toys in that room as well that your kids can use so that they don't get bored on their holiday time. Yeah, so we are slowly coming toward the end of this build. If you are still here, thank you for sticking it out. I hope you have enjoyed it. This build will be available on the gallery. My ID is miss_asa. Again, this will be in the description below if you want to download this into your game. I will also be adding, well, sorry, I have also added the dining room and the kitchen as standalone rooms to the gallery if you wish to use them within your own build, perhaps. I am also looking at creating a few shorts featuring key elements of this build and explaining how I did them, such as the uh, sort of covered daybed porch area, the custom bar, the custom fireplace design. So do be on the lookout for those. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful Christmas time, whatever it is that you choose to get up to. If you are able to like this video, as I said earlier, it would be immensely appreciated. Soon you will see some screenshots of all of the rooms and interior and exterior of this house. So as I said, thanks for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!